I have the honor of introducing Efrain Solis, who is 29 years old, but he met Jeanette when he was 11. So they have a very long history. And she recognized and encouraged his talent, which I think we're all going to be able to experience one day, because he is a very accomplished opera singer. He was a finalist in the prestigious New York Opera competition, and from a group of 2,500, it was narrowed down to just 9. So he is on his way to fame and fortune, I believe, along with his good friend and another student, Andrea. So really happy to have you both here. So without further ado, Efrain.
As you know now, my name is Efrain Solis, and I am here to recognize my middle school and high school teacher, Jeanette McMahon. So when I received an invitation to nominate Jeanette for this award by another student, I was struck by one question on the form, as I think every person who nominated a professor was. It said, "Please describe what made your experience with this teacher so special and life-changing? Tell us who you were before you met this teacher, who you became, and how this teacher made such a difference to you." I met Jeanette at Lathrop Intermediate when I was in 6th grade. She reminded me tonight. It's been a while now. I grew up in a musical home, in a very conservative upbringing, and actually I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music. But when I came to choir at Lathrop Intermediate, I was completely taken over by the sounds that all of us students were making in complete harmony with one another. I'm not quite sure Jeanette or Anne-Marie knew exactly what to make of me at that point, at that moment, or if they could have predicted what was to come in the next few years. Needless to say, I fell in love with choral music and the safe space that had been created for us in the choir room. But all good things must come to an end, and when my time ended at Lathrop Intermediate, I remember Jeanette standing at the door of the choir room, giving us each a final goodbye. Some hugs, some tough love, which Jeanette is very good at. But I remember walking up to her, tears streaming down my face, and she gave me a huge hug, and she said, "You're going to make great music at Saddleback High School, I promise you." And she gave me a huge hug and moved on to the next student. I couldn't really make sure of what she was trying to tell me, but sure enough, that summer I got my class schedule and realized that Jeanette McMahon was the new choir director at Saddleback High School. From that day on, Jeanette became like a mother to me. Not only did she encourage my musical curiosity, but she gave me free voice lessons. She would pick me up every morning from my home so I wouldn't have to walk 2 miles to school so that I could make the theater class at 7 a.m. for 3 years. She discovered my ability to sing. I wouldn't be the opera singer today that I am today if she hadn't pushed me to try something new. I wouldn't be as comfortable with who I am today if she hadn't told me my sophomore year of high school that it was okay to come out. I really could go on and on about how incredible her musical abilities are, and they truly are incredible. She has supported so many kids in their musical lives, just like Andrea. She has driven and flown to recitals, concerts, operas, everything, all to support students she's had throughout the years. But I think the way I can sum up my answer for that question, please describe what made your experience with this teacher so special and life-changing, with one simple story. I don't know if you're going to remember this story, but we were staging the musical Bye Bye Birdie. 2004? I don't remember. But I was cast as Hugo Peabody. So if anyone knows that musical, you know that Hugo Peabody is an acting-only role. So I, of course, was devastated. the simple fact that I was going to be doing no singing whatsoever in this show. But I assume Jeanette, like most teachers do, had an ulterior motive. Next page. In Act 1, Hugo Peabody and Miss Kim McAfee have just started going steady until they have a spat about something, which I can't remember what it was about, but this was the scene. So we're trying to do the scene, and everyone in the cast is in the choir room rehearsing, and Jeanette keeps stopping me. I call her Jeanette now, before we called her Mac, but I'm an adult now. Hey. Debatable. So she keeps stopping me, and she keeps saying, you're trying too hard. You need to be real. You need to be honest. You need to dig deeper. So, as a very young and sometimes very, very naive 15-year-old, I wasn't quite sure what she meant. So finally, she leaned in close to me and she said, think of a person you can't imagine your life without. Think about them and then say your lines. So at first, I was completely thrown. If you know Jeanette, which everyone at this table now does, she's definitely a person who chooses their words wisely. So I was stuck on one word Jeanette had said. She said person. So then I realized she hadn't said girl. And no one in the room heard this but me. So I closed my eyes and thought about that person. And I open them and I speak my lines. After that, the room froze. Complete silence. So I turned to Jeanette with tears in my eyes. And she hugs me and she says, sweetheart, that's acting. So the point of this story is not simply about a breakthrough in a young actor's career or development. Somehow, she had given me the permission to be who I was. Permission to not worry about trying to be the person I thought others wanted me to be. And in looking at the body of work she has created, the amount of lives she's touched, I think that is the mark of a true educator. To encourage, to challenge, to push when necessary, but ultimately to help each student accept who they are so that they can be comfortable enough in their own skin to try something new, something different, something scary even. And so with that, I'd like to, of course, thank each and every educator in this room for giving their students the opportunity to dare. And to present you with my friend, Jeanette McMahon.
Who knew when I decided to follow my lifelong passion of music some 30 plus years ago that I'd end up here tonight, celebrating the love of teaching with all of you. Okay. My decision to even major in music seemed almost like a mission. I knew I was not going to be rich or even famous, but I wanted to at least be happy and have some opportunity to pay it forward. And so, I must say, I'd like to thank the universe and Mr. Autry and Mr. Bone and Mr. McQuarrie for instilling me with the love of music at a very young age. I now have students who've become music teachers and professional musicians, and I can't help but to think about the quote, "From an acorn grows a strong and mighty oak." I have a bracelet that says it. Knowing that acorns from my tree are growing on their own now is very moving. I may not even know where some of those trees grow. I rarely go to work thinking, today I'm going to inspire someone to major in music. I do find myself confronted each day with the reality that my class may be the only good thing that happens to a student on any particular day. That my interaction or my smile may be the difference that someone needs in their life. That the music I've chosen for them to learn might not just reach down and touch them, but might actually heal them. Connecting with my singers is almost as important as connecting them with the music. I've also thought so much lately about how blessed I am to have made the living doing something that I'm so passionate about. I must sound like a broken record to my students when I say life is so much easier if you do what you love for a living, so find what you love and do it. Instead of always focusing on the imperfections of my teaching, your vision and generosity are making a difference in the lives of all the students, as well as mine. And I'm proud to be a part of this family. Thank you so much.